So now to answer the title, all of that stalked live video footage has been taken and kept despite all of the past actions they did with trying to take my original channel down and everything. It was because they didn't want me having a complete record. And if I did, they wanted to be able to have the stock footage, because in a lot of the live streams, things I talked about they were doing and different things that people did try to tell me not to do, but they didn't tell me why. If they had told me why and I had understood like I do now, it's because they plan to take those out of context or to. There's so much text to speech software and AI voice software out there. A lot of it, you won't make an AI voice, or programs won't let you unless you prove that it's actually your voice you're messing with and not someone else's, because this is the danger of that stuff. They can take it and make anyone seem like somebody else is saying something when they're really not. And they plan to try to use my own words against me. Well, I'm not really too caring about that. I mean, it's not something I didn't already anticipate. So, anyways, what was I gonna show? Oh yeah. Let me see. Let's check out the morning clips and news.
$15 million. The Beach family's attorney has confirmed with our Brooke Butler. The now settled wrongful death lawsuit named Alec Murdaugh and Parker's as defendants. This means the civil trial between the Beach family and Parker's, slated to begin next month, is no longer. Beach was 19 years old when she was killed in a boating accident back in February of 2019. Convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh's son, Paul, was driving the boat. They claimed he was under the influence at the time of the crash. Paul, who was underage at the time, purchased alcohol at a Parker's convenience store in Buford by using his older brother Buster's driver's license.
I bet all of them were drinking too, but because one of the kids that was involved, their parent, because they died, then corporation has to pay that much money because they got caught in the fuck up.
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics.
Which, I mean, I can understand and sympathize. I mean, but the people that was working that night don't have jobs anymore, and had they done their job to the letter, it wouldn't have cost that company that much, that wrongful death suit.
There.
I think I'm like other people. I'd rather Buster face justice.
To Jackson County, Florida, for the trial of Zachary Wester. The former sheriff's deputy was charged with 67 counts of racketeering, fabricating.
You don't get charged with that much stuff and not be guilty of any of it. Sorry.
Evidence, false imprisonment, and possession of controlled substances. Wester's accused of planting drugs in a dozen vehicles during random traffic stops.
It appears to be an illegal narcotic. Do you know anything about that? I do not.
All of the drivers denied owning the drugs, but yet most were subsequently arrested.
The right to remain silent.
The arrest caused suspicion internally, and in 2018, Wester was suspended. 3 years later, the case went to trial. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
This is a case about an abuse of an incredible power, about the abuse of the incredible trust that we all put, and we have to put, in law enforcement in a society.
The prosecution relied on the defendant's own body cam footage to help argue their case. Stephen Van, a convicted felon, had recently gotten out of jail when Wester supposedly found methamphetamine in his car.
Have you ever seen this before? No, what is that? I'm just trying to figure out how that stuff got in your car. You gonna go to jail today for possession of methamphetamine, okay? Oh man, dude, I'm serious, dude. Anything, what you want me to do, man?
Like the other drivers who testified, Van gave
Yeah, messing with people's lives like that. And it don't matter if the guy right there was a previous felon or not, like, because you're still human beings. And he did his time, and now he's going they're being trying to hold up and put in somewhere falsely.
the officer permission to search his car because he claims he had nothing to hide.
And I knew my truck was clean. I knew it was.
While the jury got to watch most of the traffic stops, some recordings had mysteriously disappeared.
Why in the world would that have been deleted? I wish I knew that answer.
Ironically, body cam footage would become the strongest element in the prosecution's case, especially when it came to Teresa Odom.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
At first, the officer's polite, even playful.
Anything the vehicle need to be concerned about? Bombs, hand grenades, rocket launchers? Okay.
While Odom stands behind the vehicle, Wester begins his search. Notice as he prepares to put his gloves on, there's a small item in his left hand. Prosecutors argue that Wester is palming a small bag of meth, which he claims to find next to a spoon in the vehicle.
That was a pretty shitty palming job. And this is coming from somebody that used to do magic tricks.
Miss Odom.
It is yogurt, sir.
I know. Okay.
It's yogurt.
How about this?
That is not mine. No, sir.
Now, the white small plastic baggie that was in that spoon that the deputy just showed you on this video, had you ever seen that before?
No, sir.
Was that in your car?
No, sir.
As far as motive, the prosecution claims the 28-year-old officer was ambitious and wanted to move to narcotics as quickly as possible. Wester testified he never planted any drugs.
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics there.
And after 5 days and several witnesses, the jury was asked to render a verdict. If Wester's found guilty on all charges, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Good.
After 7 hours, the jury returns with its verdict.
In the state of Florida
Oh, please.
versus Zachary Tyler Wester, we the jury find as follows as to the counts charged in the information. Count 1, guilty of racketeering as charged.
The clerk went on to read the verdict on all 67 charges.
Count 7, guilty of official misconduct as charged.
In total, the crooked officer was found guilty on 19 charges.
Count 9, guilty of
I say that was pretty light. Light. I say he got pretty lucky
official
on that.
misconduct as charged. Count 10, guilty of official misconduct as charged.
including misconduct in the arrests of Van and Teresa Odom. 11 of the 12 drivers filed civil lawsuits against Wester. In July 2021, he was sentenced to 12 and a half years in a state prison.
Thanks for being a fan of course.
12 and a half years.
We're off now to Raleigh, North Carolina, in the Wake County Courthouse. Visitors, attorneys, and employees of the court are entering the building and going through the main security checkpoint. Watch closely as this man picks up his personal belongings from the container. Whoops. He has no idea he just dropped his wallet, and now he heads to the elevators. It's not until he attempts to pay a court research fee on another floor that he realizes his wallet is missing. Inside is $1,600 in cash. Fortunately for him, someone returns the wallet to another security checkpoint in the building later that day. Unfortunately for him, it's missing the cash. So security does some sleuthing. Moments after he drops his wallet, this gentleman makes his way through security and apparently becomes aware of the situation. He and the wallet head to the elevators, just missing the wallet's owner. It looks like he's checking out the contents. He goes up to the 4th floor. A short time later, he's back in an elevator. You can see what looks like the wallet here in his folder. He gets off on the 1st floor and turns the wallet into security, minus the cash. He tells them he found the wallet in a bathroom. Security's able to track him down and arrest him in court. What was he doing in court? Defending someone, because he is a defense attorney. He's convicted of misdemeanor larceny, and as a result, he's disbarred, fired from his job, no longer allowed to practice law in the state of North Carolina. Arrangements are made to pay back the $1,600 to its rightful owner. Next, we go to a child custody hearing in Las Vegas, Nevada. The plaintiff is Shelby Bachman, and the defendant, Jonathan King. The couple are arguing over visitation rights for their 2-year-old son, Joseph. The issue is King's unpredictable work schedule. The attorneys are Don Procopius, and for the defense, Chancey Kramer.
Because my client is a UPS driver, his schedule, though, is not a set schedule. It varies. So he has to keep her notified of when his schedule is changing so that she's aware of pickup. She has told him now if he's more than half an hour late, he forfeits his entire weekend and can't see the kid.
Has Joseph gone weekends that he would have expected to see his father without seeing his father?
He has not missed one weekend. Not one.
The threat was made.
Not
I
one.
asked you if the threat was made. I asked if it happened. You led me to believe that it was happening.
No.
My client has worked with him at times that it was till Saturday morning that he picked up.
There is a problem here.
After hearing from both sides, Judge Sandra Pomerantz points to the lack of cooperation between the parents.
What I see here is parties not being creative. But
Next, we're in Denver, Colorado, for the deposition of attorney Robert Abrams. Abrams' firm was added as a defendant alongside their client in a lawsuit between two former business partners and are being sued for fraud, conspiracy, and aiding and abetting a criminal by the plaintiff.
Good morning, Mr. Abrams. Do you understand why you've been asked to give your deposition today?
No.
To say tensions are high in the room would be an understatement. Asking the questions off camera is the plaintiff's lawyer, Tom Werge. And on the other side of the table is Abrams' lawyer, Neil Sullenberger.
Are you aware that your firm, Abrams and Associates, is a defendant in a lawsuit that's going to trial next month?
Yes.
Have you had your deposition taken before?
I think so.
When have you had your deposition taken before?
I don't recall.
How many times?
I don't recall.
You're sitting here today under oath. You have no idea whether you've been deposed before?
I've answered that question. Object to form one.
Object to form is a quick way to object during a deposition and, in effect, ask the attorney to clarify the question.
Have you been deposed?
Object to form. Object to form. Move to certify the question. If you feel that I haven't answered, then you can move for a sanction.
We're going to go ahead and stop the deposition at this point and dial the special master. Good morning. Yes, we are in the middle of the deposition this morning.
But when the special master isn't available, plaintiff's attorney Tom Werge asks the same question again.
Mr. Abrams, have you had your deposition taken before?
And gets the same answer.
Object to form.
Asked and answered. Move on.
You need to answer the question.
The question was answered. Excuse me. Have her read it back.
Yep. Mr. Abrams, this is not your deposition.
Please don't harass me.
No, I'm not harassing you.
For sanctions
I'm
against
asking you to
If you're not
answer
going
the
to
question.
allow
He just
her-
answered the question.
As the heated back and forth continues, Abrams, who is a witness, begins making his own objections, which a witness is not allowed to do during a deposition.
I'm going to raise, move to strike, find it objectionable, and then move for sanctions for harassment under Rule 30D. You can look it up if you don't know it.
Mr. Abrams, I feel quite confident that if any sanctions are entered in this matter, it's going to be against you.
Objective form.
For continuing to obstruct and not answer any of my questions.
Objective
You
form.
cannot object.
I just did.
You cannot.
I just did. I'm a lawyer. I'm a licensed, unblemished member of the bar. Unblemished. If you laugh at me one more time, I'm going to walk out.
We're going to move for 30D3
We're
sections.
going to move for harassment sanctions against you right now.
Things only get worse when the arguments take a personal turn.
We're going to be here for a long time today if you do not answer my questions. I can't even get through my initial questions
That's
because you are being so obstructionist.
That's
today.
because you're a weak lawyer. You have us down here for fraud. Ask us fraud questions.
Okay, let's ask a couple more questions. Mr. Abrams, what are the pills that you just took?
Object to form.
None of your business. None of
Privilege.
What are those other pills?
Object to form, object to privilege.
None of your business. But I can tell you that if you took some of these, they would help get some of your weight off. I can tell you that.
Damn. Holy shit.
Referring to when you called me fat when you walked in here.
Object to form. If you want to raise your weight problem, Mr. Ward, with the jury and with the special master, please do. But we're not the ones that are sitting here in that condition.
I am going to end this deposition now.
Okay.
Mr. Abrams, we're going to continue it while we seek intervention of the special master.
Fine.
It's clear that you are not here to answer any questions today. We are going to move for sanctions against you and your firm for your conduct during this deposition, and we will take that up with the special master.
And we'll represent your conduct during this deposition.
Please do.
After reviewing the transcripts from the deposition, the special master issued an order for sanctions against Abram. His behavior during the deposition, along with other misconduct in the case, would ultimately earn Abrams a 9-month license suspension.
You have no evidence. Put something in front of me and we'll answer the questions.
Nowhere to be found.
Can you check and see if he's going to join us?
After a 90-minute delay, defense lawyer Joseph Caramango finally arrives in the courtroom.
Judge, I was heading east on Sahara Drive, and I was rear-ended, and my car was undrivable. The person who hit me took off, And
Hit and run.
it was a hit and run, and here I am.
I'm going to tell you, be honest with you, you don't look right this morning. That's why I'm concerned.
Judge, my neck and my back is killing me, but I'm ready to go forward.
You don't think you need medical attention?
I think I do. I think I do, Your Honor. I may have suffered a concussion, Your Honor.
Because you hit your head?
Because of the whiplash, Your Honor. I've had multiple concussions before.
You've had multiple concussions.
Yes, Your Honor. But I feel like I can go forward.
You know what? Can I just see everybody back in chambers?
Behind closed doors, Caramango meets with the judge and is assessed by a courthouse nurse.
And the record reflects that Mr. Caramango is back in the courtroom. He has been checked out by the nurse. Now, the nurse said you told her you got hit from behind and then you hit a car in front of you. Okay, you left that part out with us.
Yeah, I did, Your Honor.
So you also hit a car? So it was a double hit and run.
I guess.
The judge is becoming increasingly suspicious of Caramango's story, and the prosecuting attorney isn't doing him any favors.
My observations were observing him that there was clearly something wrong with him. I noticed he was slurring his speech. I noticed he seemed unsteady on his feet. And when actually Mr. Caramango came back into the courtroom, he seemed very unsteady on his feet as he walked by and actually ran into our counsel table.
Things only get worse for the defense lawyer when the judge orders him to take a blood alcohol test.
I think you have a concussion. I think you're dazed and confused and can't tell a straight story because you're too intoxicated.
I admit that I did have drinks last night, and I lost my grandmother about 2 weeks ago. I've been under a lot of pressure, Your Honor. I'm
Okay.
aware of that.
So if you came to court intoxicated, you have a problem. Do you understand me?
Your Honor, I can represent as an officer of the court. I am not intoxicated.
Okay. So just go ahead and blow. Let's get it over with.
Go ahead.
You want to show me? Okay.
I am stone sober.
Mr. Caramango, if I was you, I would just be quiet at this. Okay, for the record, your blood alcohol is a .075.
Even though his blood alcohol content is slightly below Nevada's .08 legal limit for driving, the judge has had enough.
I have no desire to ruin your reputation or anything. We'll deal with it. I'll give you an opportunity to get it together. But at this point, I cannot absolutely allow an attorney to proceed.
The judge declares a mistrial, and Joseph Caramango's law license is put on disability inactive status. He's prohibited from practicing.
Baby, I love you so. I want you to know that I'm gonna miss your love the minute you walk out that door. So please don't go. Don't go. go away. Please don't go. Don't go. I'm begging you to stay. If you leave, at least in my lifetime, I've had one dream come true. I was blessed to be loved by someone as wonderful as you. So please don't go. Don't go. Don't go away. Please don't go. Don't go. I'm begging you to stay. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. Baby, I love you so. I want you to know that I'm gonna miss your love the minute you walk out that door. So please don't go. Don't go. Don't go away. Hey, hey, hey. I need your love. I'm down on my knees. Thank you. Please, please, please don't go. Don't you hear me, baby? Don't leave me down. Oh, no, 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 no. Please don't go. I want you to know that I love you so. Standing in the rain with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket, it was a sold-out show. Heard the roar of the crowd, he could picture the scene, put his ear to the wall, and like a distant scream, he heard one guitar just blew him away. Saw stars in his eyes. And the very next day, bought a beat up 6 in a secondhand store. Didn't know how to play it, but he knew for sure that one guitar felt good in his hand. Didn't take long to understand. Just one guitar slung way down low. Was a one-way ticket, only one way to go. So he started rocking, ain't never gonna stop. Gonna rockin', someday gonna make that to the top. And be a jukebox hero. Don't stop till you die. He's a jukebox hero. He took one guitar. In a town without a name, in a heavy downpour, thought he passed his own shadow by the backstage door. Like a trip through the past, the next day in the rain, and that one guitar with his whole life changed. Now he needs
Nigga pot cooking so good, he put his shoe in. Nigga, it's a gangster party, why fuck is you in it? Head bust a microwave shit, then taking 2 minutes. You know that there's some scraps in the club, they let my crew in. I might just do the Michael Vick man and cook your left hand. If you ain't talking about buying ground, then I'm a deaf man. I can make the dope do numbers, but they said, oh man. I told my bitch to dye her hair red like Danny Rodman. If Gucci man got so much money, then why he robbing? We 30 deep, we cover the street, nigga, we mobbing. Let's go out again, and go out again, chasing and go out again.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man! You're a monster! I'm not the monster here, you are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world.
Hello?
Is this Robert?
No, it's not Robert.
It's not the Warfield residence?
Yes, Warfield.
Do you happen to know Tracy Warfield?
Yeah.
This is Ian Wilson, and I don't know if you're aware of it, sir. She's doing like a prostitution, and I had met her at a motel. Was you aware that she's doing this type of stuff?
No.
You didn't know she was a prostitute?
No.
She's got an ad on something called Skip the Games, and basically it's a website, to where you can get those type of services.
She don't live with me. She lives in Chattanooga.
Right. Okay, sir. Well, I was just wanting to make you aware of it.
Keep it.
Yeah, because that was such a nice phone call, him impersonating me. All right, let's get back to the content. Well, this is on the feed. Ah.
Your tree starts looking flat.
Just happy little accident.
Chances are you've killed all those beautiful dark areas. You can go back and put them in, because we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. Learn to work with anything that happens. Made a mess this time. You may be right, too. I've certainly been known to do that. There we go. But we don't make mistakes, you know. We have happy accidents. Very soon after you start painting in this method, you'll learn that there's nothing that goes wrong. You can correct. You don't know. We don't know. And if you've painted with me before, you also know we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents, and we learn to work with those accidents. And things that happen sometimes are more beautiful than things you really set and planned. So and you're never limited. You can continually change these. You can add to them, subtract, anything that you want to do. Because if you've painted with me before, you know we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. We learn to work with everything that happens, and that's when you get over any fear of painting, and it really. All these little things that you've painted in here go away, and it just becomes solid again. So if you ever make a mistake and you're unhappy with it, of course we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. But should you have something that you're unhappy with, you can just keep blending it until it goes away. It can just go away and leave you. Just mess something up. If you mess up the top of this one, don't worry about it. You can either completely wipe it out, or you can go back and very simply drop it in. Because you know, if you've painted with me before, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
That was good. I gotta give it anonymous, dude. That was a good one. I think I'm gonna play one more song as I see that.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your oil paints and paint along with us each week. Let's go up to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some big little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. This is your world with a creator. Find freedom on this canvas.
Believe that you can do it, because you can do it.
Give it a little touch. Give it a little push. Make love to the canvas. Give it a little touch. Give it a little push. Caress it.
Very gently. Grab it, look it. You can go on and on and on.
Back and forth.
Layer after layer after layer.
Let's build a happy little cloud.
Let's build some happy little trees.
There are no limits here.
Start off by believing here.
This is your world.
You're the creator.
Find freedom on this canvas. Believe that you can do it. Because you can
do it.
Relax.
Let it flow, just like water.
Relax. Let it flow. You can go on and on and on. We don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. You can do anything that you want to do.
Total power
Sing along, have a good time.
This is your world.
You're the
You're the
creator.
creator.
Find
Find freedom on this canvas. Believe that you can do it, because you can do it. I believe every day's a good day when you paint. It'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Every day's a good day when you paint. It'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Mr. Rogers. Yeah, I'll do that one too.
Hey neighbor, welcome again to this neighborhood. I'd like to show you something. You know what this is? Well, maybe if I press this button. This is a cassette player with a cassette in here, and there's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they
scary things?
Do you ever imagine things?
Things you'd like to have.
Did you ever see a cat's eyes in the dark and wonder what they were? Did you ever pretend about things like that before? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think and
They'll grow.
imagine every person that you see is
Somewhat different from every other person in the world.
Some can do some things, some can do others. Did you ever think of the many things you've learned to do? Many things. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious
About many things.
You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think and they'll grow.
Fucking neighborhood. Let's feed the fish some food. Mr. McNeely, I didn't order any whistle.
That's what we call a slime. Did you feel like growing like that? There are so many things to learn about in this world. And
So many people who could help us learn.
Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think. You can think about things and make believe.
All you have to do is think, grow. Rest in peace, Mr. Roger. Rest in peace. That was just one of those holy, genuine type of people. Was the type of person he was. I don't want to play Sovereign Citizen Bingo. Making the babies. The fuck? Don't tell me they use that line.
After arrest and before trial comes jail. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, we know. Good Lord. Man, jail in Las Vegas is a whole fucking other world.
Depends on how long we were able to stay in there.
Sex or
I mean, they got this bitch made up specifically just to cater to that fucking culture or whatever you call it.
You know, about 10 more minutes, then.
So you've been dating recently then? Okay.
Just took my virginity.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, when I got out the joint.
Oh, how long were you away?
5 years.
5 years? For what charges?
Attempted murder.
Attempted murder? Okay, gotcha. What charge are you?
Maybe he should be cuffed in the back.
They said I was trying to commit grand larceny and steal a dog.
And stealing a dog?
Damn, that must have been a purebred dog.
Teacup.
Oh,
Yorkshire Terrier. And I'm out on it.
Oh shit, Yorkshire Terrier. Oh yeah, that might fall in that category. I don't know.
On this moment, so I'm not getting out for a minute.
Right.
For sure.
Is that why you went in the bathroom?
That could be part of the reason. The other part would probably be because he's so good.
Oh yeah.
Cute. We're gonna eat lots of.
Oh. What? What? What?
Down here in booking, where pretty much everybody comes in for the first time. You know, you get the officer inmate contact, and it just depends on them whether they want things to go.
Well, maybe they'll start fucking separating the waiting area for the male and female inmates because this is a fucking disaster.
Or not, so it's important for us to just, keep everything in here.
Did they try or did they actually? I mean, because trying that could be a relative term. I mean, did they even engage? I mean, one could argue if they even engaged, they didn't try. They were in the act.
Run it smoothly so that way, they can get through the process.
Ain't none of them trying to hurry up and get through that process, though. And the irony is that's what would get them out of there quicker.
What are you doing in the bathroom?
Let's see. Oh, let's look at that face. Yeah. I don't know if I can zoom in more. Hold on. Nah, see, that's just fucking with the player. But if you can see what I see, that's a little biting of the lip smile there. And she's smiling.
Well, no, but I saw him in the corner. She was way over, so I couldn't see her, and he pulled his pants down, so I wasn't about to walk in there with his pants down.
You sit over there in the corner.
Oh, she had a skirt.
What are you guys planning on doing?
Well, that was probably not that hard.
Depends on how long we were able to stay in there.
Sex or if possible.
You know, about 10 more minutes, then.
So you've been dating recently then? Okay.
Just took my virginity.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, when I got out the joint.
Oh, how long were you away?
5 years.
Damn, she took his virginity. Oh, well then that means she's special
5 years for what?
to him.
Attempted murder.
Attempted murder?
Oh, he's a keeper.
Okay, gotcha. What charge are you here on?
They said I was trying to commit grand larceny and steal a dog.
You're evil. You try to steal someone's dog.
You're stealing a dog?
A teacup.
Oh,
A teacup Yorkie.
Terrier. And I'm out on intense supervision at this moment, so I'm not
Oh, you're already on supervision now. Well, yeah, you fucked that up.
getting out for a minute.
All right.
For sure.
Is that why you went in the bathroom?
That could be part of the reason. The other part probably is because he's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Cute. We're gonna have some babies, lots of them.
What are you guys planning on doing then?
Making the babies in that bathroom.
Are you gonna go to prison pregnant, or?
If I was lucky, it didn't work out that you guys decided to come bang on the door and
Well, make sure we keep a special eye on you two.
you
So
guys are.
get you through the process and make sure we separate you guys in different cells.
This guy developed a plan to steal a puppy. He called up a pet store, found out the animal cost too much, but then he found out that it was at the animal hospital. So he called up the animal hospital and basically asked if, the animal was there. They said yes, that he worked for the pet store and was going to go down and pick the puppy up. He calls back and says, well, I'm going to be sending my assistant down. He basically admits he wanted to get his niece a puppy, didn't have $1,500, and basically sent her down to steal the puppy.
Well, like I say, we put you out there on a free arrest.
Well, she's a brainiac.
Your girlfriend. Don't want to rendezvous in the bathroom there.
Wow, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh, yeah, let's bring the officers on. Yeah, let's bring them on. Relax. You were. Whoa, I'm relaxed. Whoa. You face this rear wall right here.
Belligerent drunk.
You have stockings on?
Yes, I do. Got my nap too.
What else you got on?
Pantyhose.
Okay, he's got stockings on.
Pantyhose?
And outfit. Yep.
The cop threw up his hands like, yeah, I'm not messing with that. You gotta be careful. This is one of them shows that'll fucking get you knocked if I ain't keeping an eye on things and pausing it regularly.
Is it laundry day?
Yeah, oh yeah. Pink.
That is pink.
Oh yeah.
What's
Mhm.
that is?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were gonna
I
what?
didn't plan to share that with you guys.
Oh, who are you gonna share it with?
My girlfriend.
We're gonna go ahead and.
I'm sure she would have thought you were real pretty.
Change out some of your clothes. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to wear that in jail, bud.
Stay facing the wall. Stay facing the wall the whole time.
In fact, we could probably.
They're trying to protect the public.
Step right over here. There you go.
Corner right here.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and remove the can, sir.
Oh my God.
This night.
Dude, please make him walk out in the fucking whole gym pop would never let him live that down. Man, you just know if they didn't work and get videotape on this show or something, you just know one of them officers would have had to have told the fucking somebody. That would have got out.
Okay, go ahead and take the pink.
That guy is looking like, man, I don't get paid enough for this shit. Dude, that's the face of no shame. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, dear Lord in heaven. Good God, protector of all that is good and holy. Please absolve this man from his fucking deviant thoughts. Amen. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Oh God, why do you make it funny but horrible at the same time? Oh my God, is that God or is that me doing that? I don't know. Some things you just fucking can't help but laugh, but turn away, cringe at. Oh my God, dude, he has no shame. He ought to be embarrassed. Ugh, he's even got the man boobies.
Face the wall. We're gonna give you your clothes back. You got arrested for DUI tonight. Is that what happened?
He's kicking them.
What happened inside the blood draw room that got you agitated?
I've been arrested before, but for some things that just are personal. So
That's understandable.
Oh, that could be interpreted bad. So he's been arrested for something that's personal. In other words, like he don't want to fess up to it. I hope it wasn't an ugly, innocent, involving thing that I'm thinking of. If so, then fuck this dude.
No problem. Okay, come over here and have a seat right over here on the wooden bench now, okay? All right, we're gonna give you a cool-off period in here. Good to go? Good to go. Thank you. All right. We'll be back to talk to you in a little while. You know, I'm not sure exactly what got him started out there in pre-arrest, but I'm glad we did get back here, get his pink lingerie off. Can't believe this guy's doing it again. Come here. Get out now. You were told not to communicate with her, not to talk to her. I'm tired of you. You were standing there, blowing kisses. He told you not to communicate with her. Telling her to shut up is communicating with her. Do you understand that? Do you understand the word communicate?
I promise I said shut up.
I promise you didn't. You're full of it. Come on in here and face the wall. Spread your feet. All right. So what happened now?
He thought I was communicating, and I kind of was communicating.
Oh, were you communicating or were you not communicating? There's no was kind of being
I said
like
shut
halfway pregnant.
I kind of said shut up.
Are you blowing your kisses back or making a little?
No, I said shut up.
So what would make you think you could just go steal a dog? I don't understand that part. The thought process.
I look like a person that wants a Yorkshire Terrier.
No, but you look like the idiot that would steal one for because you just happen to know somebody that really wanted one, and you probably the whole thing for a niece story. I'm not buying, obviously, and I doubt the cops are buying on first glance either. So yeah. I think this was a creative way to try to get hands on some money, which is just fucked up. I mean, I've been in the position before when you don't have money. All right, I've been in the position before where you don't have money, and you got a personal issue, habit, you know, going on, and you don't know how you're gonna make the next day work. Just like anyone else that has been through recovery and that type of stuff. And I mean, I can honestly say that, yeah, I don't like looking back and thinking of some of the like desperate type of things, like selling things that today I wish, you know, trying to sell and get something appraised, which led to me being around people who I thought, again, was in the position of thinking that I had friends and I didn't have real friends. So the very thing I was trying to get appraised and sell for money for more, you know, to have money for probably a cigarette, you know, just all around everything stupid I was engaged and caught up in. I got something that was priceless, you know, like I had the answer already. It was priceless, is what it was. I didn't need to get it appraised. It was a, you know, and I don't even, you know, I'm just going to share it just a cautionary tale, but, you know, I thought I was with people that weren't my friends. I had a 410 shotgun that I had got given to me for my birthday when I was real young by my grandfather. And I also had I don't know the exact caliber because it was a World War II. It was brought back over from World War II. It was a uh, Japanese infantry long rifle. Um, it had Japanese letters on the metal part. It was operational too. I mean, it was. I mean, I'd never fired anything through it, but it worked. All the mechanisms worked. Um, and my mother's granddad had left that to me, and I just wanted to get an idea. Like I wasn't. I mean, obviously, I was going to sell the 410, but I didn't really want to sell, and I know I wouldn't have talked myself into selling it. So I really, looking back, it was completely idiotic and a flaw on my part to even take it, and not wanting to drive around with it anymore. I thought I had a safe place where we could put them. Wasn't gone 15, 20 minutes. And it, it was the same case of something I'd been involved in before. And this is what gets me mad because people say, oh, you can't pass sleep from just marijuana. Because I was smoking nothing but marijuana. Um, I had acquired and had exactly 6 lower tabs in my top right small jean pocket, blue jean pocket, 6 tens, and I was saving them because this was at a time where I hadn't had a wreck, I didn't have pain like that, I wasn't aware of my back, although I did have pain in the back, but not so much to where I worried or did anything about it. We were smoking weed, and I was over there with somebody that I met from, it was actually a friend of Kayla's. She knows who Jay is. But her friend Deanna that tried sleeping with me, and Kayla wanted me to oust her, which that's a whole nother thing. But I was over there with Deanna and a friend of hers, and this guy's Jay, named Jay, that we went over to and hung out. Well, I got left there, and needless to say, I fell asleep on the couch. It was a, kind of sinks you in couch. It was very comfortable. So I wake up, and it's like eerie silent. There's not a soul anywhere in my peripheral or forward vision, and just a single light on at the end of the hall. The door bust open as if like police were bum rushing in. I don't, my instinct was to try to turn around, but as I was doing it, the distance from my back to the door was so close that the people that got behind, they kept me from turning around, put me down, and had up against my back what felt like, and the irony is it could have been one of my own fucking damn because it was around that time. It literally could have been one of my firearms, and they go through my pockets. They take my keys. They go out to my car. They don't take my car, but they go through it, leave the keys there in the car. And then as they're gone, a minute or so passes, and Jay comes out the fucking bathroom looking spooked, acting as if he had heard it out or didn't know and was like, what the fuck was that going on? I don't know if he came out of the bathroom or it was bedroom. But he played the dumb act and, and surprised and all this and that. And I knew right then looking at him, like, and it was hard too because I was upset at the time. This was, believe at this time, me and Kayla were done. Brought her back from Nashville and all that that I've explained before. And so, but I had a phone and it had pictures and everything of the times when we went to Los Angeles. We were in St. Louis, Nashville, etc. Pictures on the plane, and yeah, getting that's what it wasn't the phone or the value of it or anything like that. It was the sentimental memories that and events I had from my life on it. They got taken from me.
Go to the dog pound and get it done. All right. Sit in there, start thinking about making the right decision so you get out of jail.
And she had a little dog, and I hate the fact that I accidentally caused its leg to get broken. It was trying to come up from behind us out of the room, and were tasked with closing the door and keeping him in that part only of the house we were at. And I closed it behind, and he was like a little extra skittish than me, so he ran out fast behind, and I closed it, and it closed right on his fucking leg. I thought I killed him because he was in what I know now was he was in shock. But I had thought I had killed that damn dog. I was like, and that's what pisses me off when these people in this hate group says I have no empathy or love or nothing because, I people can say, well, he was upset and you were only upset for yourself. Number one, it wasn't like I was just sitting there worried about, oh, now I'm going to lose Kayla. Or two, I was going to go to prison or something. No, I was genuinely fucking hurt that I injured it, caused it pain, and I was hurt at the way it looked, and everything else. And we got it, you know, I looked up a place and we got it to a place and we basically just went to them and begged them to help us, and they did. And he did pull back through, and he, for a few weeks, was on three legs. Basically, he had to keep that leg up for it to heal and keep it immobile. And he did heal. So yeah, I had somebody trying to say it's odd that I had told that, and then I had what happened with my leg and stuff, And some people will get angry that I even say that or kind of link the two, but I'm not linking them. That was someone that I was talking about with things that made that link. I never thought, it was a completely separate event and it dealt with other people who obviously didn't have nothing to do with the prior thing. So why would they, I don't believe in weird, like, there's karma and then there's like paranoid, far-reaching thoughts about karma and stuff.
Oh, we don't talk no more tonight.
You just said don't
All right,
talk
listen up.
anymore.
This right here, this lists your charge right
They
here.
didn't. They never listen.
Conspiracy, okay? Just make sure you're not talking to the guys on the left side. So just go take a seat in that front row. Yeah, you go ahead.
Can she go to the bathroom? Now that was a smart ass.
Probably end up in a side cell herself, you know, just not talk to the guys, things like that. So just see how it goes.
I'm gonna have to just to show y'all this because I haven't got. I had one before. Oh, not well. I do want to get this ring, but besides that ring, uh, I had the Samulet. This is the ring I got on right now, but I'm wanting to get that too. But there's oh, necklace that Dean wears. It's called the Samulet necklace. It's it fires up in God's presence whenever God's around. I had it, and through moving and stuff, I don't know. I don't know. Somehow or another, it may be somewhere. It may be closer than I know, but I'll probably just end up getting another one. Oh, I can get it in installment payments now. I only have to pay for it all at once, which it's not nothing but like $100. But that supernatural inspired jewelry, I mean, it's just something that I bonded over it and found it watching the last seasons of the show in 2019 when I was in sober living and still in the beginning part of my recovery. And I think that's why it has a special place for me because I had a lot of internal and self thoughts, and I was making myself a different person in the place I was living day by day. And watching that show kind of gave it I don't know, a significance, as corny as that may sound, because I just like the show. I don't know. Fuck off.
People come to Vegas and think that they can just do whatever they want. Not everybody comes to jail because they're out trying to commit some big crime or trying to hurt somebody. And no matter how many commercials and stuff say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, it doesn't, because come on vacation, leave on probation, return on parole violation.
Well, that was kind of catchy. Come on vacation, leave on probation, return on parole violation. Sounds about accurate.
Let me say that, man. I respect you. You asked 3 times to be quiet.
Now I got three count 'em diplomas. Or no, I'm sorry, 4 diplomas. I got my high school diploma. I have my diploma in mind dynamics, body language analytics. We've got and hell, there's other parts of that course I can get certified and stuff. I hadn't even got that. That's the more auxiliary one. Then I got my diploma for May, and then I got my diploma that houses my national certification. Yeah, but I'm a malingering derelict failure. Yeah. What's up, Brownie? Good morning. And I knew when I put that video out of me talking to Brownie in the background while videos play, like people would make weird say, you know, oh, he's got weird roulette. Like you don't. So no dog owners ever talked in a silly voice to their dog while they pet them and show them affection, because that's what's happening that y'all don't see. I'm sitting here petting him now, and it'd be like, "Hey, boo boo. Hey, buddy. I'm gonna get your stomach. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get your hip. I'm gonna get your thigh. Let me get your little foot. Let me get your foot. Let me get your foot. You know, like I try to like grab him real quick to make him go after my hand. Or I say, hey, Bubba, I love you. And give him a little kiss on the side of the head and scratch him in the belly. And that makes him put out his belly more and he puts his head on me and rubs it. Like, he just say, yeah, yeah, he's my daddy. It's my daddy. My daddy shows me affection. Don't you lick me. I don't see. I don't even like it when he licks me. Tries to lick me on the face. No, yeah, you good boy. Say I should good boy. They don't want to. They gotta make. You know they gotta make fun of something, Dad. I know. If they knew the fact of the matter, like all that time in the past when they first started talking about peanut butter and shit, like I never even gave Brownie peanut butter until I got a specific toy that was to help him with training that advised using it as the top part to seal in the rest of the treats from falling out of it. That was the first time we used peanut butter, wasn't it, buddy? So that you could use that toy that we bought. And it's called the for those that want to know, it's called Fable, and it's made by or no, it's called The Game, and it's made by Fable, which makes another toy that's called Falcon, which is also part of the same. They're training, attention keeping toys for dogs.
We're gonna readjust your cuffs and we're gonna take your belt and your watch. Okay?
I apologize to you guys.
It's okay. Listen, let me readjust this cuff. Okay? Appreciate it.
Y'all saw Brownie right now. He's sitting back here like he was when I showed on video the other day. He's sitting back with his paws up, and this is the time that he knows he gets attention and lovings. You want me to? You want me? Yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's good. Keep scratching, Daddy. Keep scratching the chest. Yeah, scratch my chest. Yeah, yeah. That feel good. You yawning? Why are you yawning? You can't be as tired as I am. Shit, you didn't have to do what I did last night on the computer. I want to talk about my fake shift. Yeah. See, I could put out a paycheck, pay stub, especially since I get them sent PDF to my email. But why would I do that? And they could find out who it is and harass them, like they did in the past with things. I don't think so. Cause me to lose my job, my source of income. I don't think so. Yeah. I scratch you some more. I gotta get back to streaming though, okay? It's a little way too, it's a little bit more earlier than it is for you to be up.
What was your problem with the guy that was leaving? Was that the one that brought you in?
I explained to him. He need to see the big fish. I'm a little fish.
Okay. Well, he's the one that's brought you in?
It's a big fish bowl. We got big fish and little fish.
I'm smarter than everybody up in here. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I know what I'm doing.
You're gonna have a seat over here for us.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'll talk with you.
For someone born in Las Vegas, even a Las Vegas jail, that's most typically reserved for not just people that's from Vegas, but most of their people is people that's from out of town coming through. Like the dude said, come on vacation, leave on probation, return on parole violation. That's exactly like what it is. So the fact that you're in this type of jail and you were born and raised here, it most obviously shows you don't know what you're doing. Just saying.
Do me that one little favor and just be quiet.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
That's it. Smile about him right here. I have to admit. Yeah. He seems like he'd be a good old guy, but it's not like
That's exactly what it was. Who has the best story? Why are you in jail?
best story. Why I'm
You think you have the best story?
Yes,
Why are you in jail?
I was in front of a bar with the girl at the end, and I had an open container beer right in between my legs, and I'm in here because of that. And I feel that the police out here are very hungry. You know what I mean? Because if you go to Los Angeles or something like that, you ain't go to jail. I mean, we was in the parking car just drinking the beer.
Well, this is in Los Angeles.
I know this is Las
sure.
Vegas, and I say they hungry out here. But instead of I'm in here just for an open container, just for sitting in the Jeep. I mean, in front of a bar, drinking the beer.
Is that legal?
It's not legal.
Well, that's why you come to jail.
Yes.
Next, what's your lovely story?
I never show up for court, period. I'd rather do 22
So they'd be
days
really stupid to give you an OR today in a court date.
exactly and go into detox than to pay fines that I have.
What was the warrant for this time?
There's no telling.
You don't even know which one it is?
There's probably, well,
That take notes. You do not want to be like that.
I think it's probably failure to appear. You know,
Failure to appear.
undercover cop. And if I'd have gave him a job for $5,
So it was prostitution.
Oh.
And then you didn't show up
he
on the
would have brought me to
prostitution.
jail. But I said, if you gave me $6.75, at least minimum wage, Your Honor. You know, she dismissed that. Well, he arrested me again. So I'm sure when I go in front of her, and she said, why didn't you show up for court? I'm saying, minimum wage. Minimum wage.
Yeah, I'm sure if what she just said was true, which I call bullshit, I'm sure that the judge will find that real flattering.
Ma'am, you're in a jail.
I understand I'm in jail. You think I don't know what the f***
Then why are you resisting and pulling away from the officers?
That was the point. She wouldn't move.
You comply, they don't grab you and twist.
Well, here's the thing.
She's
You ask the
switching to
person down, you ask them to move out of their way.
She's switching you to handcuffs. You kick me, I'm gonna give you a
I'm not
felony
kicking.
charge. You kick
I have
my
a
leg.
bad leg. He just put his foot on my leg. Thank you.
You got a chair for?
You look like the chair's more comfortable.
You do not want that chair.
You think? No, I know it's not. You're going to.
You know, you're too busy cracking jokes.
Go ahead. Talking to a person that needs help. Unlike you. Someone actually
No,
does need
someone who
help.
needs help. I do need help.
You can get some help. Right in that restraint chair. Behind you. Where you going? The chair's over here. Parker, right there. Boom. Thank you very much. Down you go. Put your hands as far down as they can go or it won't be comfortable. I'm glad. Keep your legs down.
She knows how the restraint chair works.
That's why I was so complaining with you until you would not move out of my way.
You want to act like that? You get treated like that. That's how it works.
I'm not acting over you.
Well, then you're the only one strapped in the chair and everybody else is sitting out here. So how's that work? I don't care about your thing anymore. Move her away.
Under
Bye-bye.
whether the person has underwear on or not.
Bye-bye.
But you want to pick on me.
She thinks she knows how to run the place, so she
I'm
comes in
not trying to
screaming,
run the
yelling,
place.
can't
I want
follow
something
any
to
order.
do.
But apparently we're only picking on her. There's a whole room full of people that know how to cooperate and do what they're supposed to do. So she's strapped in that chair.
I'm surprised she didn't snap and like fuck you and spit at him or something. I'll be laughing. You don't smile at people in jail. It's one of the rules of jails and stuff. You don't smile at people. They fuck around, think you're laughing at them or something, then you just started a problem.
Be quiet. Went over to her, and she still wanted to challenge me, so I had her sit down. She refused, just stood there in a challenging stance, and she did kick me. So what are you here for today?
I can't remember. Soliciting, I think.
Hands on top of your head. I know you've been here
Soliciting. Why don't you just call it what it is? Prostitution.
plenty of times.
They're ashamed. That's why. That's what's sad about prostitution.
Frequent flyer comes in all the time.
Legs, shoulders, knees and toes, looking at
She
us.
said she doesn't go to court, so she gets a bench warrant for that charge. And now today she's here for the bench warrant. This time the judge will probably give
I
you
mean, hell,
10 days.
they got to give her points for being honest. She could have came in there and be like, I don't know. You know, she didn't have to tell him because I don't show up for court. Now she's just almost assured she's not going to be given an OR.
But then when you go back out, you're going to start all over again.
Yes.
And that's the cycle of addiction, folks.
Now I'm crippled and old. I don't care now. Still have to sign. Just a copy of why you're extra bench warrant for soliciting. You know how the room works, right? Yeah. So the girls don't thank you. Boys, no problem. Let's sit down my name. She's from soliciting to support drinking.
And cheap sex acts, quick 10, 15 bucks in a night, just so she can go get herself some more alcohol, which she says she does now.
I got the arrowhead that my granddad had given me, but yep, Dean's necklace pendant. I don't know what the hell happened to it.
The past 4 years, I'm constantly on my feet and I'm running from the beginning of my shift to the very end. One night it'll be ladies' night. The next night it could be people that have been drinking too much. And there's times when people come in and all they want to do is fight. So my job as an officer is to talk to these inmates and pretend that I can relate to them. And then if I can do that verbally and not go hands-on, then I think I've done a pretty good job for that night.
I'm glad she said pretend that she can relate to him, because I started to say there's no way that these people relate to these other people.
You're only 6 months? No, you pull it off very well. Uh-huh. So you came from city?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you do? What do you got to take care of here then?
Actually, they gave me a detainer. I got another court date. I got released from city, but then they gave me a court date for county. I just went to county court yesterday.
All right. So you may not even be here that long then. Okay. This row all the way down the very last chair. There's times when inmates will have city charges as well as county charges. So they'll go to city, they'll get things taken care of with city, then they are transported over to us, do their time here, take care of that, and then they'll get released. You said you haven't been in trouble for a while though, right?
Not like 4 years.
Okay, you're 6 months pregnant though.
Yeah.
All right, so you're done being more responsible, and that's why. I know it's your first, and that's what I'm saying. But you said you didn't know until you were 3 months pregnant. That's why you.
No, almost 4.
Almost 4. Okay, so you're not doing crack anymore. We're done with that. Okay, that's a good thing. If you didn't know about, because if you didn't know about, then I get after you.
No, but I really didn't. Because I've been in here. I've been coming in and out of here because I've been in prostitution. I've been out here 8 years. I haven't even been doing that.
Okay, so the prostitution charge wasn't a recent charge?
It was a recent charge.
How are you prostituting right now?
I'm not. I was in the area.
Okay, so that was allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked in casinos. I was on Tropicana, and that's like a high prostitution area.
All right, you know.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
We're just both thinking about your baby. That's all.
No,
Okay.
most definitely.
Okay, good. All right, because I see some sad stuff in here, and it makes me sad. It makes me cry. Hang out here for a minute, and then I'll send you through. Okay. Do you sing country?
I'm a professional female vocalist. I sing.
What do you sing?
I sing everything. Gospel, Western rock and roll, rhythm and blues, or rap music. Play the guitar.
You say
Damn, she a jack of all trades. Y'all hear that?
your father's a preacher?
Yes, I'm a preacher.
Brownie, what are you doing eating? What are you eating? What you doing eating, boy? Why'd you bring that over here? Why didn't you eat at the food bowl? You know we don't do that. No, now take it back over there. What are you doing with this? You get it. Mm-mm-mm. No. Don't sit there like you done something. Go eat your food over there. Go get it. You just ain't gonna listen, are you? He jumped right back up here with it. I don't feed you some hot food or something, then I'm subject to the Portability Act, huh? You're able to just take your food and get it to go, huh? Little booger. Tell everybody you got your bath yesterday. You did your training outside. You did good. Although Dad forgot to log the stuff like he always does. Gonna have to do it this morning. Say, yeah, I was a good boy.
Right? I really want you to say
They're trying to charge me, and they can get away with it. It's very unfortunate. They can say anything they want to.
who's they?
You know, with these people now calling me a pedophile and stuff, guys, people may be like wondering what the fuck am I doing? I'm passing time. I have a timeline that I've set up because that's just how I do. I pre-plan things. Kind of like to build it. You know, I really didn't plan, and I kind of flew by the handle with the way I came on here and how I just met people and stuff. And so, as much as I'm not responsible, nor are these malicious acts justified, I still feel self responsibility from the fact that it's happened, from the fact that I got around the circles where the people were that allowed it to happen to see me. People think I don't have any sense of self responsibility about it. But, you know, when you look at the fact that I pleaded, begged, did non aggressive things that a lot of times take things down and try to diffuse stuff, none of it ever worked. And that's a fact. That is a fact actually here on the live stream. Because remember that I illustrate when things are facts and largely most or just everything's opinion. But I can, with my word and with the videos and just remembering the past and the timeline, can point out 3 or 4 instances where I went completely non-retaliation, didn't have any videos about the subject up, maybe some community posts if I had the community tab. And the times I didn't have the community tab, I didn't even have that stuff. And I went on live streams ranging from breaking down and crying and begging to pleading to arguing what is the point, you know, what do you want from me, etc. So they can't say that I keep it going or it's justified for my actions, I broke a peace treaty, etc., that they always like to say because they know that there are inevitably some that are watching that are just keeping tabs on what happens and who does what.
They're trying to charge you with.
I'm not quite sure what they're trying to charge me with, but they threw handcuffs on me. And when I told them I wanted to be taken home.
Was the officer in plain clothes or uniform?
He was in plain clothes.
Vice?
Yes.
Prostitution. He's saying you tried to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's not what was going on.
What was happening? You tell me what was happening.
What was happening?
Did he?
No, we did not discuss sex. We did not discuss sex
At all.
He was trying to, and I told him no.
Well, look at you. You're hot. Of course he's going to ask you for that.
Oh, well.
Have you ever been to this facility before?
Long time.
What was the charge back then?
The charge was solicitation of prostitution.
Well, see, you didn't mention that. You know, sometimes people just can't be honest about the whole situation. You know, honest to yourself about it. I mean, it's not like it'd be really unusual for you to be brought in here when you didn't really do that. Did you touch him in any way? Did you ask him any questions? You're smiling. At one point, You led him to believe that you were interested in that. It's okay, don't get upset. We're just talking about it.
Damn, she broke that woman down. She broke that woman down. He wants to talk about Bizarre. This guy, Bizarre, no remorse,
Let me address
crazy.
Mr. Lorenzo first. Mr. Lorenzo, you've represented yourself pro se in these proceedings throughout, and we've had several discussions. The rules
Idiot. Idiot to do it. But actually, in this case, it's a good thing he did it. He secured his fate.
require that at every important stage of the proceedings that I reoffer you counsel. You are to be sentenced this morning. I believe that that is a very important part of your proceedings. So I am going to offer you, as you know, you have standby counsel, Mr. Brian Gonzalez, an excellent attorney, and he is sitting right next to you. Would you like for me to appoint Mr. Gonzalez to represent you today before I
Say no.
sentence in your case?
Excuse me. No, I'm fine.
Thank God.
I just wanted to make that offer to you. Are you then representing yourself pro se, ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, most definitely am.
Is the state ready to proceed?
That's right.
All right. I heard that there was. Does anybody need to be heard? This is the sentencing.
Yes, sir. It is my understanding that there are some friends, Mr. Galehouse, who would like to speak this morning. So I let Your Honor's clerk know that they do wish to speak.
All right. Well, I don't want to deny anybody the right. So who exactly is it? Is there a representative or? So nobody wants to speak?
Change of hands, yes, sir.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. We're flexible. All right, then. It appears that everybody is ready to proceed to sentencing. So, Mr. Lorenzo, yes, you're raising your hand.
Do I get sent to say something before sentencing?
I will allow you the opportunity, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I'd like to take me about 5 or 7 minutes of your time if you don't
Well,
mind.
I will ask that you try to summarize it as quickly as possible.
Okay. First off, I'd like to thank Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs.
I mean, he didn't even say he was ready or if it was time for you to speak. This motherfucker just goes straight into it, and the judge just lets him talk.
And everybody else that was part of the defense team. They were absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Can I address the state attorney?
You may.
Yes. I'd like to let you guys know that I have no animosity against you. You did your job and did a very good job of prosecuting this case. So I want to thank you for that because I appreciate your fairness today. That's what I appreciate. In this lifetime,
There's not no fairness in prosecution and other than the fact that they're supposed to present it how it is
I'm the bad guy, you're the good guy. Maybe the next
and present it zealously.
lifetime the role will be reversed. Who knows? But I want to let you know that I wish you all.
Don't count on another lifetime. This guy is just he know like he is he's just so accepting and of the sick shit and twisted things he's done to deserve death.
And to the judge, I want to thank you because you have had incredible tolerance and patience and fairness to me while I stumbled my way through this whole process. And I want to appreciate that. I want you to know that. And I want that on the record for the Florida Supreme Court. So I'd like that to be there. I'm seeking the death penalty. It's in my best interest, basically, because it's a comfort.
It's a comfort which says you won't have to spend a life in prison and suffer slowly. Yeah, that's why. And who knows, depending on the details of whatever he did, it might end up getting him, you know, he might not be popular. I don't know the details fully about this case.
I'll be living a lot more comfortable than I would in the federal system, living on death row, believe it or not. And
Oh, okay. So you're thinking about Yeah,
And
selfish.
may sound selfish, but
It is.
I've lived in a private cell for the last 5 years, and I'm going to have a private cell on death row. At my age, I want to be comfortable. I want my privacy. That's what I want.
Yeah, and your victims just wanted to live.
So that's what I'm doing. It may sound selfish, but that's the way it is. You live for today. You don't live for the past. You live for today. So
Spoken like a true psychopath.
I'm asking you to give me the death sentence because that would be more comfortable for me to live out my lifetime.
Not for the family's vindication or for what you've done, but for your comfort.
I can be on death row.
And the judge should have just, the fact that this guy just so, he should have just gave him just 900 something years.
For about 10 or 15 years, which I think is crazy. But as far as I see it, it's just euthanasia. I already have a death sentence. Everybody in this room has a death sentence.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't have to know about ours and worry about it, nor is ours automatically written from something horrible we done, like you.
And you're just offering me a euthanasia that I'm looking to do willingly. That's all it really comes down to.
Yeah, okay, I mean, this would qualify if he would just say this in any other normal setting as suicidal ideation, could get him detained, etc. So why is this not, you know, an issue with him saying it in court?
And so I'm asking you to do that. So, and I'm going to try to speed up this process so I don't have to wait 15 years because I got better things to do in my time.
No, you don't. You ain't got better things to do. You got the time to pay for your crime. And that's what you don't want to do. And that's what's so obvious with this fucking statement.
As far as I'm concerned, the faster I can get, the sooner I can get, fetch myself a new body and come back again, a fresh body. That's how I look at it.
Well, that may be how you look at it. That don't mean how it's gonna happen.
That's how it is. That's how spiritual work. We're eternal beings. So the way I look at it is, the sooner I euthanize, the sooner I can come back.
Well, I mean, let's just devil's advocate say that you're 100% correct. That is how everything works. And I don't even like to say that I don't disagree with him, but it is true that we're eternal spiritual beings. But you're wrapping it up in a tight little bow all real quickly. I could just die, just get another buddy, come on back. Like, yeah, I'm sure actions and what you've done leading up to your death and all that, your larger output actions in life, assuming that that's how it worked. Like I said, assuming he's correct, just saying it for hypothetical reasons. It wouldn't be that just wham bam.
I've got better things to do with my time than to hang out and spend the next 15, 20 years.
It's not hanging out, it's paying for your crime. That's the whole purpose of prison. And you do the crime and do the time phrase because and that's the whole thing about what hard time means. You're made to sit there in a state of limited activity where it should cause you to reflect on what got you there and why you're there and why you don't ever want to get there again, etc., etc. That's the whole, and to do community service if allowed. Go to some types of therapy or group treatments if they have them there to work and give back. Like that's the whole purpose of people that are in prison for crimes. The rehabilitation, that part, people would argue that I'm going to say that that's really important and overall part of it, but it's secondary. The main part is they have a sentence and they have to serve that sentence because each punishment or each crime carries with it usually always a fine and or time. Always.
That's what I want. So that's why I really have to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I don't know if what you say is perhaps some form of reverse psychology, or do I care? I will not consider what you want in issuing my sentence.
I know. Yes.
All right. So I am then ready to proceed. Did you have anything else that you want to say?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting this over with. It's been 5 long years.
All right. Does the state, based on the fact that the defendant made a statement, have anything to say before I announce the sentence in this case?
No, sir, we do not. Thank you.
All right. We recently had a penalty phase bench trial in which many witnesses testified. On February 7th, 2 very strong young ladies testified.
He even got a bench trial because he wanted this shit to go faster. He is such a selfish asshole.
Miss Ruth Wachholz, the mother of Michael Wachholz, and Miss Pam
Why didn't you just plead guilty? Why did you make people go through a bench trial?
Williams, the mother of Jason Galehouse. They are observing the proceedings today.
For those that don't know, a bench trial is where the judge considers everything and basically takes your lawyer's side and the prosecutor's and does what a jury would normally do. So it's a lot quicker process. Some would say it's almost like rigged or set up that you're going to be, but that's not necessarily true. There are people that went through bench trials on high profile cases and gotten off or gotten a light judgment.
It was consistent in their testimony was that they have been waiting 20 years for justice. Today, that
20 years these people have been waiting, and you're bitching about 5.
long wait ends. In the words of Miss Pam Williams, from one Italian to another, ti condanno a morte. That translates to, I sentence you, Mr. Lorenzo, to death. That is the punishment that you deserve for these horrific crimes.
He had the nerve to interrupt him and say thank you.
My reason is explained in a 40-page order that I have prepared and signed and am filing contemporaneous with this sentence. Will be handed out to the defense and the state now. You were previously adjudicated. You shall be transferred to the Department of Corrections to await your execution. You have 30 days to appeal this sentence. Mr. Gonzalez, I ask that you file a notice of appeal before you file a motion to withdraw as standby counsel.
Judge, I will inform the court that Mr. Lorenzo has already prepared a notice of appeal, and I intend on filing it when we leave court.
I appreciate that. Very good. Excellent. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. I
And
appreciate it.
Mr. Lorenzo, may God have mercy on your soul.
My soul is fine. Thank you, sir.
Arrogant asshole. We're going to take a break. Is this the song I'm looking for? Well, this shit's fucking freezing up on me. It was in the Bad Batch song. The fuck is that song? Yeah, this is it. Okay.
Listen to your life, would you say I'm a man without conviction? I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go, you come and go. Come, 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 chameleon. You come and go, you come and go. Love is easy, colors like my dream. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Hear your wicked words every day. And you used to be so sweet, I heard you say that my love was an addiction. When we cling, our love is strong. When you go, you're gone forever. You string along, you string along. Come, 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 chameleon. You come and go, you come and go. Loving was easy because like my dream. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Every day is like survival. You're my lover, not my rival. Every day is like survival. You're my lover, not my rival. I'm a man without conviction.
I'm a man.
Doesn't know how to sell the contradiction. You come and go. You come and
Go. Squeezy, squeeze, 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 squeezy, squeezy. Could have been easy if Squeezy wasn't on them pills. Oh, books. See, y'all, I can laugh at myself. Squeezy, squeeze, squeeze, squeezy, squeezy. Could have been more easy if Squeezy wasn't on them pills. Looking ass. Oh, shit. Uh, just thinking about a fucking tune somebody had made on me.
Dude, you're not leaving him.
Still a good song.
I'm just a stupid son of a bitch.
And they shouldn't be fucking with that Carl dude either. Now I finally know people are gonna be like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, I just finally figured out who that Carl guy is.
Smack a woman. I eat a bunch of dicks all the time.
Is that it?
Dude, you're not leaving him money if you hit it off. I'm just a stupid.
Okay, so he slipped up and said something you got. Big deal.
So what makes a handgun an assault weapon according to California?
a semi-automatic pistol that accepts detachable magazines and has one of these scary features. A threaded barrel, because God forbid you want a muzzle device on your handgun. A second pistol grip, because that's going to make these very dangerous. A barrel shroud, because I don't know what they were thinking with that one. Any handgun with the capacity to accept a detachable magazine outside of the hand grip. So no AR or AK pistols unless you buy one of those ones that are on the roster that's a single shot and then you do your thing. A semi-automatic version of an automatic weapon. What the fuck does that mean?
Uh-oh. We got a Second Amendment warning, y'all.
Welcome to my first State of the Second Amendment video, where I'm going to be talking about here's kind of where we're at in the big picture. With the ATF pistol brace rulings and everything else going on, it's really easy to lose sight of wins and losses as far as big battles as opposed to little battles. Yes, I understand there's really no such thing as a little battle. Don't go keyboard commando on me, but I think you get the point. Where are we winning? Where are we losing? What are the battles that we have fought behind us? And what battles do I see coming up ahead? And how will they be fought? That is the topic of this video. My name is Tom Grave. I'm an ex-criminal prosecutor. Let's get into it. Different landmark Second Amendment decisions to have come out ever, let alone in the last 15 years when they both have come out. Of course, importantly, what Heller basically put down was the fact that no, the Second Amendment is an individual right. And of course, that was extended to apply to the states. So in other words, whereas Heller applied to the federal government, the states in the McDonald case that came out a couple years later also have that right applied to them. So in other words, you cannot keep your rights at the federal level and then have your local state, like, oh, I don't know, arbitrarily picking Illinois, New York, California, New Jersey come to mind as states that are just going to, well, they can take away all your rights. Nope, can't do that. That's what those two cases, Heller and McDonald, stand for. Then more recently with Bruen was very critical for kind of two separate things. The first one is basically saying, yes, the Second Amendment applies to these sorts of activities. And specifically what they said is adult citizens in possession and carrying ordinary weapons, to specifically include handguns, to non-sensitive locations and folks who are non-prohibited possessors. There's a lot going on there. I get that. If you want me to go into more details about anything, again, let me know in the comment section below. The second most important thing, and arguably even more important, is the fact that we have a massive legal standard for how everything needs to happen when it comes to conducting a constitutionality test of Second Amendment cases. Because you have to understand that ordinarily, when a law or regulation is affecting a constitutionally protected activity, it should be accorded strict scrutiny, which is the highest level scrutiny by the courts. In other words, yeah, no, this isn't like an interest balancing test of, well, is the public helped out if we destroy this amendment versus.
So, even if you fall to the category because you respect the law, whereas a lot of people are going to say, fuck that, it's my God, I mean, you can have whatever attitude you want to, you're free to do that. I don't make any stance on it except I say that if you're somebody that lawfully can't, then, and only if you can correct the issue, which would be if you're under a certain medication and in a state that, like Tennessee's trying to make a law, there might be other states that have it, stuff like that. You have to then eliminate that issue. I mean, if you can, if the medication is life-saving or if you need it to function continually, and you really have to, that's an individual and doctor thing there. And even then, it may be more individual because I'm not going to go into what he all said, but yeah. So, and since my card is still yet a little bit more before expiring, if, yeah, I'm smoking a little bit again just to help with coming down on the meds. You know, I'm not sitting here token for the hell of it. I got some specific things. I got actually things to put in drink stirrables to use more than anything. Uh, because I don't, you know, I went weeks and hadn't smoked at all. And because I made this decision here a while back, then I said, well, you know, fuck it anyways. Because I have to wait a year, you know, and somebody let me know that specifically in the comments. And I did double check it out on my own. And I appreciate the, you know, and see, that was actually kind of dumb of them doing that because I didn't know. I'm going to be honest and say I didn't know at that time about that little technical. So the fact that I know now means I won't be fucking up or breaking any laws. Whereas if they hadn't have said anything, I might have fucked up and broke the technical part of that, you know, and then they could have got me in trouble or whatever. But that won't happen now.
Versus this particular individual, things like that. That was more or less what the Second Amendment was, even in the wake of Heller 10 years ago. Bruin said, nope, that doesn't work anymore. We tried letting the lower courts come up with something sensible, presumably strict scrutiny, because that's what every other constitutional right is given, and the lower courts all failed. They kept inventing lower standards, and I won't get into that now. Let me know in a comment if you want me to get into that subject for a different video. Here, I want to fill you in on, again, just so we're crystal clear, what that legal standard is. The legal standard put down v. Bruin, in other words, this is what all new laws and regulations, and not only new, but all old laws and regulations, to be held as constitutional, must pass. This is the wall that they must clear. So the standard is that the laws and regulations must be consistent with the nation's history of regulations. So we're generally talking 19th century and back. We'll see exactly where the U.S. Supreme Court, SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS, draws the line in the 20th century, but we're generally focused on 19th century and back. Keep in mind that, of course, there was firearm laws and regulations and gun control back in the 19th century, 17th century, so on. But keep in mind, those laws were basically focused on making sure that slaves, freed slaves, Native Americans, Catholics, and basically just people that they didn't like were not allowed to possess firearms. Right. Very real. So gun control, again, basically started as an anti-African American, anti-Native American, anti-Catholic, and anti-some other groups that the government was using its power to disarm folks. All right. If you want me to go into that in a different video, again, let me know in the comment section below. But that's the history of gun control, and the Bruin decision made very clear that, look, not all history is created equal, guys. So don't try to take some sort of anti-freed slave Guys, we appreciate you tuning in. This is going to be a video that, frankly, I know a lot of you are not going to be interested in. I'll just be very upfront about that fact because we're just going to be briefly talking about the fact that we have opened up memberships. This is not going to be taking away from any content. So I know that there's like 10% of you who get offended about the concept that people are trying to cover their costs on the internet and like in business and so forth. So for those of you who are 10%, look, you don't lose a thing in all this. What happens is basically there's gonna be 3 different levels. We have our tier 1 members who I can basically sort in the comment field so that I can easily see those folks and I can more quickly respond to them and basically give them a priority response. They also get emojis to show that they're channel supporting members and so forth. So there's all that kind of stuff, a couple bucks a month, basically. There's tier 2 memberships, which will basically get you early access to law and, hey, that's good gun control. That's good law. We can use that, which, by the way, prosecutors have already used in Oklahoma. Click on my video in the description below if you want to see that one. So what are the battles so far? Well, there's a handful of them that have already been fought. Number one, that the 2A Second Amendment is an individual right, not a community right. That's Heller. I.e., you have an individual right to own your firearm. This is not a communal right, which is reserved to like the National Guard, the Army, or something like that. This is you. You down the lens can own a firearm provided that you don't meet some sort of disqualifying criteria, which we'll get into. Number two, the Second Amendment covers ordinary weapons to specifically include handguns. Now, of course, where are these lines going to get drawn as far as what's an ordinary weapon? We'll get into that later on as well, but that's huge. The inclusion of handguns by name is absolutely huge in recovering ordinary weapons. So what is now gone are all those arguments saying that, hey, the Second Amendment only applies to muskets or something like that, or your uncle's double-barreled duck gun or something, or whatever the case may be. Nope, that's all gone. We've got that. That's nailed down by and large, but of course that won't stop the antis from attacking. Number three, the Second Amendment and First Amendment recognize pre-existing rights. They're not a right given by the Constitution. They are a right that the Constitution recognizes as pre-existing beyond place and time. These are things that have already been spelled out by courts. Okay. Number four, the Second Amendment is for all adults who are not prohibited possessors. So I realize that there's lots of firearm laws out there that you have to have, for instance, NFA, many concealed carry laws, and so forth. You have to be at least 21 years of age. Is that going to be changing now in light of Bruin? Well, to find out. But otherwise, for all adults who are not prohibited possessors. And of course, number five is already covered the rule book for how these fights and battles are going to occur in court. So the battles to come are going to arise in primarily one of three ways in court. And guys, before I get into this, if you've not so be sure to support for the Second Amendment as well as this channel. If you'd like to see content like that, help us make that content. It's absolutely free. Like the video as well as subscribe. It helps us grow. It helps basically bringing me back here to the studio to keep feeding the internet beast. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. So again, there are battles that are going to be coming up, and they're going to come up primarily in one of three different ways. Number one, legislation passed by anti-Second Amendment legislatures. We're seeing this across the whole country: New York State, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Colorado, New Mexico, Illinois. Just I can keep going on and on and on. Unfortunately, of legislatures who are reacting to the Bruin decision and are basically passing their own versions of the assault weapons ban, low capacity magazine mandates, so you can't have anything above 10 rounds. I've also heard 9 rounds. I've also heard 8 rounds. Of course, everything is getting bandied about right now. All these sorts of things. So I was talking about new legislation that's coming into effect. That's number one. Number two, government agencies who seek ongoing regulation. Could we be talking about bump stocks? Could we be talking about pistol braces? Could we be talking about forced reset triggers? All the above? There you go. All the above. So we're talking about
Mm. I'm not going to be washing anything of yours or clothes. And you need to be honest with yourselves and let it be known that I'm not a permanent prohibited person. I'm only a temporary one,
predominantly the
like he's discussed. I didn't type a book. I asked him to cover the thing in Tennessee and other stuff, and also asked him to explain the temp psych holds and how they do not make you a permanent prohibited person, not even temporary, unless you live in a state like California, which he's talked about and brought up.
ATF and the Second Amendment space, but of course, we'll see if any other agency gets involved in the action. But obviously, as the ATF reclassifies things, walks back to their rulings, and so forth, that's going to trigger opportunities, depending on how you look at it, for litigation. So that's obviously going to be another way that things make it to court. Number three, the challenging of existing laws and regulations already on the books prior to Bruin. I read an article, I don't know if this is true, but I saw it on the internet, so it probably is, that more firearm laws have been overturned in 2022 following the Bruin decision than in all of the cumulative previous 70 years. That was the effect in basically 6 months of the Bruin decision. Again, I saw it on the internet, so it's probably true, but there you go. So how will these legal battles be fought in the courtroom? This is going to be really important because we're going to see a unique set of legal challenges as far as how these constitutionality analysts come into play. And we're already seeing this as recommendations, by the way. If you want me to do a video on the playbook of the anti-Second Amendment crowd, because there's a professor who put that out there, said, look, here's the playbook for how we need to challenge this and basically rein this in and crush the Second Amendment, let me know in the comment section below. But borrowing one thing that was obvious, and I already done a video about or made a reference to it, and now I saw it on that guy's playbook. The use of historical experts, really from both sides, to try to frame their arguments as being the ones that are most consistent with history and tradition. And we've already seen this come up in litigation so far, where folks are integrating in the use of experts as part of their courtroom testimony, as part of their evidence for when the constitutionality of a statute or regulation is being challenged for, no, I have this expert saying, nope, this is absolutely lawful, or nope, it's absolutely unconstitutional, it's absolutely outside the tradition. That's really their role, is to establish here's what the tradition was, and then if the court allows them to go into it, whether or not the existing legislation or regulation is consistent with that tradition. Okay, because if it falls within the nation's tradition of firearm regulation, then it's probably going to be held as being constitutional. If it falls outside the nation's tradition of firearm regulation, then it will probably be unconstitutional. That's basically what it is, and that's the reason why these experts are going to be so important and unique to the Second Amendment area of law. So what are the battleground issues going to be? We've been talking about how things are going to be fought, how things are going to come up, and how they're going to be litigated in court. So here's 5 things that I think are going to be coming up, and number 5 is huge. So be sure to stick around for that. Number 1, who are adult citizens? I teased this before, but what's the age of majority when it comes to the Second Amendment? Is it 18, or is it 21, or is it something different altogether? I've heard some anti-Second Amendment folks suggest that, hey, we should raise the age for possession of handguns to 30 or higher. I don't think that's actually going to go anywhere, but just the same, those ideas are floating around out there. Of course, particularly we're talking about a lot of states' concealed carry laws, which currently put 21 years of age majority, as well as, of course, NFA possession, and of course, handguns in general. Sometimes you have the 21 as well. Understatement, but there it is. Number 2, what's the definition of ordinary weapons? Are we talking about NFA? So what about, I don't know, pistol braces? Is the upwards of perhaps 40 million pistol braces, is that an ordinary weapon and therefore now subject to Second Amendment protections? What about bump stocks?
Gonna be a lot of questions out of this from Bruin.
Going to be covered? What about forced reset triggers? Are accessories in general? So for instance, one of the arguments against magazines coming from the anti-Second Amendment crowd is, look, these are an accessory and therefore they are not protected by the Second Amendment. So are magazines going
Let's
to
do
be part
Dahmer
of the
tapes.
Second Amendment? Or is that not going to be part of the Second Amendment? And
Oh, anyone coming in here and watching, you should know these people, this hate group going at me, that's talking about me and doing streams, if you're saying, they actually had the nerve to say, he's getting into the pedo slowly but surely. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I was a young lawyer at the time. I get this call from my boss. He said, I need you to see Jeffrey Dahmer. It's my first job. I felt like Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs. There were horrific things that he did, but Jeffrey Dahmer was a very complex person.
Wow, triggered it all. I wish I could give you a good, straightforward answer on that.
Shock and horror as police carry out a large cooking kettle in the most gruesome mass murder case in Milwaukee history.
I don't think there's anything that can prepare anybody for that kind of carnage.
People were shocked, they were awed, and they couldn't turn away.
He said, yes, this is how I killed, and this was why.
I just wanted to keep him. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
There's no person I've ever known of that was as lonely a human being as Jeffrey Dahmer.
You don't know how to love, is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure I do.
There were times that I felt like a mother to him. I felt like I was his therapist. But hearing the graphic detail was more than I could stand.
I have a drill at home, and it's going to sound bad.
You can't help but to become close with somebody when you spend that many months with them. It was difficult to pretend like this isn't affecting me.
He preyed on the undetectable, people of color, gay people.
But they took the word of the white male over 5 black witnesses.
This was not an evil man. This was a sick man.
When I started falling away, I gave up trying to resist.
He decided, I'm losing this fight with myself. I can't
What the fuck?
I am not sorry. And I am not sorry for the things I did do.
Piece of shit.
The world has certainly witnessed some of the most heinous and senseless acts of violence throughout history. What's more disturbing is the total lack of regret expressed by some of the renowned criminals throughout their trials. As the horrible details of their crimes were disclosed,
and there is no place for you in an open, law-abiding society.
some of them mocked the court and even laughed in the face of their victims. Others had a cool, calculating approach, displaying no feeling or guilt of their conduct.
I'm not saying I regret it because
These criminals displayed blatant contempt for human life, and their trials were characterized by a sheer lack of empathy. Here are the 10 most prolific killers who showed no remorse in court. Number 1, Michael Swanson. Michael Swanson's name has come to be associated with needless violence and misery. He was born in Iowa in 1993, and he suffered from mental health concerns for the rest of his life. Despite these obstacles, Swanson was intellectually brilliant. However, his potential career was cut short when at age of 17, he committed a double homicide. Swanson robbed a convenience store in Algona, Iowa, and then shot and took the lives of 2 shop employees before leaving.
She was shot in the cheek and
After a high-speed chase, he was arrested in Minnesota and charged. Swanson was found guilty of the crime in 2011 and sentenced to life in prison.
and there is no place for you in an open, law-abiding society.
With no chance of release, he displayed no remorse for his conduct during his trial and punishment, even beaming and grinning in court. He made nasty and inappropriate remarks to the victims' relatives and showed a complete lack of empathy. At his trial for the 2 lives he took in 2010,
Completely messed up.
Michael Swanson displayed a total lack of remorse in court. He made vulgar and inappropriate remarks about the victims and even laughed and smirked during the proceedings. Swanson's behavior in court was unexpected and infuriated many people who were waiting for a display of sorrow and an apology from him. He was asked how he felt when he committed the crime. He proceeded to say that he felt powerful.
What did you feel when you pulled the trigger? I feel powerful.
Swanson was sentenced to spend the
Evil.
rest of his life in jail for taking the lives of Sheila Myers, 61, and Vicky Bowman Hall.
Let's give it a moment. Let's give a moment of silence for these 2 people. Golly. Or be with their families. I try to, do stuff like that. Take a moment of silence for the family and the victims when I'm going over stuff like that. Just, for the respect factor, especially after seeing what happened here recently with true crime.
47. On November 15th, 2010, Swanson turned off the television cameras and cursed as the jury convicted him. Swanson was bad, according to the judge, and lecturing him would be futile. Swanson's solicitor said that his client had a lengthy history of mental health issues and that the deaths may have been averted if he had been given adequate medical help. Swanson is still serving his time. However, the victims' relatives continue to grieve their loss, hoping that Swanson will one day express genuine regret for his acts. Swanson's case is a terrible reminder of the impact that one person's actions can have on so many people's lives. Number 2, Ronnie O'Neal. Ronnie O'Neal is an American man who rose to prominence after being arrested for taking the lives of his girlfriend and their 9-year-old daughter in 2018.
Should not have put in the video rose to prominence. He didn't rise to prominence. There's just a lot of eyes on his case because he was televised. He represented himself pro se, and he tried a sovereign citizen type defense. He questioned his children, that the ones that survived and had to witness his acts, was completely almost narcissistic in the way he did it, had no remorse. Like, please do not say or correct that this guy, he is not The only thing prominent is the sheer lack and display of evil that came from this guy.
The horrible incident shocked the entire town, and many people wondered how someone could do such a heinous atrocity. O'Neill grew up in Florida and had difficult upbringing. He had a history of
Of course, he's in Florida.
substance abuse and had previously been in conflict with the authorities. Despite these obstacles, O'Neill was able to retain a job and provide for his family. Unfortunately, something snapped in 2018. His conduct got increasingly unpredictable and his behavior became increasingly erratic. O'Neill assaulted his girlfriend with a knife and a gun in the night, taking the life of her and their daughter.
Why are you leaving out the fact that he had radical Islamic beliefs? That may have had something to do with it, because I'm sure his family, that they weren't all accepting of his radical new beliefs.
Afterwards, he set fire to their residence. O'Neill was subsequently apprehended and charged with first-degree murder on 2 counts. During his trial, he defended himself.
The evidence is going to show.
He made a show. He didn't defend himself. He had nothing to defend.
He did not see me shoot his mom.
And made outlandish accusations that were made part of a police Illuminati plot.
See?
He also expressed no regret for his conduct, stating that his girlfriend and kid were sacrificed for the greater good. When he asked his son in front of the court that did he beat him, to which his son replied yes.
Did I hurt you that night of this incident?
Yes.
Afterwards, Ronnie started to yell loudly, saying that they were playing a fraudulent recording of him.
You think I'm here to play around with y'all? Goddamn!
Despite his attempts to defend himself, O'Neill was found guilty. He was also accused by the prosecution of inventing evidence. Once he was found guilty, the judge went on to add that this was the worst case she'd ever seen in her life.
This is the worst case I have ever seen as far as the facts go.
And she'd seen quite a few atrocities. He also indicated that he was not sorry for what he did. O'Neill was sentenced to 3 life terms plus 90 years without parole.
Not enough.
His kid was adopted by the detective who cared for him the night Ronnie O'Neill attempted to stab him. Several have criticized
Good for him.
O'Neill's ability to defend himself in court, claiming that he was not mentally competent, and yet he kept on yelling. Others have questioned the legal system's efficiency in dealing with people like O'Neill who suffer from mental illness and are violent. Whatever the outcome of these disputes, one thing is certain.
Oh, he was plenty competent.
O'Neill's lack of remorse for his acts has had a long-lasting impact. However, his son will live a safe and prosperous life now. Number 3, Randall Moore. Randall Moore, better known as Randy, is a convicted criminal who rose to fame after being arrested for taking the life of his wife. Moore abducted, assaulted, and took the life of his estranged wife in November of 2009, a month after she sought a protection order against him.
Poor woman.
Moore also shot Des Moines police officer Todd Rowland as he reacted to calls for
Good Lord.
aid emanating from the couple's former flat. Moore, who was charged with first degree, displayed no remorse during his trial, stating that he had taken the life of her wife in self-defense. Nevertheless, court testimony revealed that the victim was unarmed and had been shot many times at close range, calling Moore's allegation into question. Notwithstanding his denial of guilt, the evidence produced in the court called his defense into question. Moore's lack of remorse and attempt to rationalize his conduct, together with the facts presented in court, indicated that he indeed committed a cold-blooded crime. Sheila Lynch had been waiting for Randall Moore's sentence for more than a year since he took the life of her daughter, Teresa Ann. She told Moore, "What you did to my daughter was horrible, terrible, and despicable."
What you did to my daughter, Teresa Ann Marie Lynch, was evil, hateful, and despicable.
Lynch said in a victim impact statement given at Moore's sentence.
You are now dead and rotting and repulsive to me.
Since you couldn't take away her spirit, you took her life. To which Moore replied, "Examine the journals. She despised you. She despised you."
Read the journals she wrote. She hated you. She hated you. You're a loser.
Moore
Oh.
was also given the option to make a statement before being sentenced. He attempted to rationalize taking the life of
He should have lost that right.
his son's mother for more than 10
For doing
minutes.
that.
I feel absolutely no regret for Teresa Ann's death. These words from Moore elicited gasps from people in the courtroom at points. I hope there are more examples like this when people don't want their spouses to see their children. Moore added, I hope it becomes more
Damn.
common. When responding to Moore, the judge warned the court that he could not breach the line of judicial decorum. I believe what I've heard, Novak gave 3 life terms to Moore for the crimes against Teresa Ann Lynch. Moore and 25 years in jail for taking the life of Officer Rowland. You give new meaning to the word evil. I've never seen anything like you, Novak, the judge added. Outside the courthouse after the sentencing, a weeping Sheila Lynch said the day went better than she could have imagined. Her daughter's assailant has been apprehended and her family is moving on. Number 4, Keith Ferguson. Keith Ferguson belonged to Kalkaska County in Michigan. He was a family man with 4 children. However, he was convicted of taking the life of his wife, Tiffany. It was reported that she filed for divorce in September, according to court documents, but the divorce had yet to be finalized.
I tell you, these guys, they always like I get it. I'm not going to pretend that I never experienced any negative parts of a breakup. Or didn't feel any loss from it, but I didn't let it destroy me. Just you have to move on, and it's like these guys they can't move on. They snap. You know, I'm not excusing what they do at all. Just saying, like, I just don't get it. Oh shit.
According to the investigators, there was a divorce pending between him and his wife, like I just said, and there were certain things that happened between the two of them that probably set him off. Keith Ferguson reportedly took his wife's life using a firearm on November 18th at their home in Cold Springs Township, then took his 4 children, ages 3, 9, 11, and 13, to their grandparents' home in Excelsior Township. While attempting to take children as hostages, he shot and took the life of their grandfather, Weber. The children fled to a neighbor's house for assistance who was shocked to hear what had happened. However, this neighbor happened to be a Calscutta Sheriff's deputy, who contacted 911 right away. At the same time, Keith Ferguson also contacted 911 from his house in Orange Township, saying he had a captive and threatened to shoot any responding authorities. Keith Ferguson was safely apprehended after a 7-hour standoff at a residence on Gold Road in Orange Township. He did not hurt the captive he was holding at his house. After being arrested, he showed very little regret for what
Thank goodness
he had done. Keith A. Ferguson, 40, of Kalkaska, was arraigned in Kalkaska District Court for his crimes. Ferguson was sentenced in the morning by a judge who stated that there was something fundamentally wrong with him. He kept on cursing the judges and everyone present in the courtroom. When the victim's friend told the court how she warned her friend Tiffany about Keith, he said, "Just sentence me, whatever."
Understand me? I'm not doing this for these stupid cameras and these inbreds.
When asked about his relations with his children, he showed no interest in meeting them in the future. Ferguson was charged with first degree and was given a life sentence with no chance of release. He was also to be denied any contact with his 4 children, but an official revealed that the children are older. They will be permitted to write letters to their
unwanted call. Sasquatch tried to call me. That's Seth here in Missouri, a member of the Workyverse. Yeah, Seth, I got your number. Remember you gave it to me a year ago before you started trolling me. Do not call me again. You were blocked. You weren't blocked. Now you are. That was your first unwanted call. Do not call me anymore. All right? You can talk shit. So I guess you've been behind some of the alt account. You know, you can talk your shit with your group, but you do not try to contact me. We have not been friends since we were acquainted last year, and you started your stuff of calling me a faggot, the whole motherfuck me thing. Ever since from that, I have never been friend. You have no business calling me, and it's just another nail in the coffin of showing the proof of what you guys do as an organized bunch. calling me at 6:55 in the fucking morning.
Their father. The prosecution of the victim's family openly expressed their satisfaction with Ferguson's punishment. Number 5, Thomas Michael. Thomas Michael T.J. Lane is a convicted criminal who garnered global attention in 2012 after he opened fire at Chardon High School in Ohio. Lane's actions startled the entire neighborhood. He was born in a tiny village in Ohio and reared there. He had a difficult life with a background of substance abuse, violence, and mental illness. Lane's father was likewise imprisoned for numerous offenses.
Nah, I hate those school shootings, especially since I've seen that dramatization.
Criminals are supposed to be in prisons, and the cops are there to monitor them, and meanwhile, they are supposed to solve cases and get the work done for the people. But what happens with these cops is that they ended up serving sentences in prison. Do you want to know the complete picture? Then watch the video till the end. Tyler Moody. The story of Tyler Moody, a former Collin County Jail detention officer, demonstrates the accountability and justice that exist even within law enforcement agencies. Moody's acts were brought to light on Tuesday, October 11, 2022, when he was caught for providing an inmate with a contraband phone, resulting in his termination by the Collin County Sheriff. After admitting his wrongdoing, the detention officer faced significant charges and was placed in the same jail where he had previously worked. Sheriff Jim Skinner recognized the irony of the situation, and he not only fired Moody, but also personally arrested him for a third-degree crime. The Collin County Sheriff's Office published a video of the jail officer being discharged from his position. Tyler Moody is seen conversing with Sheriff Jim Skinner in the footage. "You're fired," he added. "You're no longer a worker here. Understand? You betrayed the confidence of every citizen we have the honor of serving, and you've abused the confidence of the courageous and dedicated men and women with whom you've been working for nearly 3 years. This tragedy serves as a reminder that law enforcement corruption will not go unpunished. It underscores agencies' commitment to upholding integrity and accountability,
This will be a taped interview in reference to IA case number 2021-006. Today's date is Friday, December 24th, 2021, and the time is 7:03 p.m.
Today we cover the case of 3 corrupt police officers who were involved in an internal investigation. Sergeant Kirkland and the 2 officers Galt and Beatty were investigated by the New Smyrna Beach Police Department following an illegal detention. This is one of the rare cases where police officers are held accountable for corruption and violations of constitutional rights. I will first play the body cam footage of the incident so you can get an idea of what happened. If you are only interested in the interrogation, you can simply skip this part.
Hey, I want you up front. The business. Shoot after this? Huh? Shoot after this? Why? They said you're asking the customers for money and stuff like that. God bless them on this one. Okay, well, they don't want you up front of the business. I don't want you up in front of the business. Okay, well, that's not how this is. So you think you'll get me finally? No. I'll give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice man. They just don't want you up here anymore. I don't care. They don't have the authority to tell me not to be here. They said you're asking for money and stuff like that. That's what they said. It's hearsay. Huh? It's hearsay. I say I'm not asking for money. Okay, well, they said you're up front. So can you just go somewhere else? No. Why? Because I'm not going to. I put in my heart to stand right here. I'm staying right here. Okay, but they don't want you blocking the sidewalk and stuff. I'm not blocking the sidewalk. Okay. Is your ID on you?
Fishing, just trying to find a reason to fuck with him because he's challenging his authority.
Alright, well, you need to just move along there. That's all they want you to do.
But he doesn't have any authority in the situation. The dude's not doing anything wrong. They just want him gone because they see him as an eyesore.
Nope, not happening. Why? Because I'm just saying God bless them as well. Okay, yeah, you have the right to do that. Yeah. They just don't want you in front of the business. I mean, is there a reason?
They don't own the front part of the business. It's public.
So is there a reason why you're in front of this business? Yeah. I put it in my heart to stand right here and say God bless them as well. Well, is there a reason why you're in front of this business? Not particularly this business. I'm just on the public sidewalk. Okay, you're not asking for money? I am not asking. Okay, your sign doesn't say it, so I don't know. I mean, Have you asked anybody for money? I mean, I'll tell you, my name is Jeff. What's your name? Officer Galt. Officer what? Galt. Galt. G-A-O-T. And you haven't asked for money or anything like that? I'm not gonna answer it. Can I just see the back of your sign? Right. Can I just get your first and last name real quick? My first name is Jeff. I'm not. Why not? I'm not interested. I mean, you're making this more complicated than it has to be. No, I'm not. I'm standing here on the sidewalk saying God bless them respect. Yeah, but causing. Are you talking to any of these customers? Yeah, I'm saying God bless them respect. Okay, well, if they don't want you talking, then you just can't keep saying the same thing over and over again, causing this problem. All right, well, have a nice time. Okay, well, they just want you to move along, so can you go ahead and move along for me? I'm just gonna say right here, God put my heart to be here. I didn't know you guys have body cams. Yes. Every agency has body camera, so that's recording.
They're starting to have hands on all the time. Not every place.
Say God bless all the discussions. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not tossing anybody.
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
Okay. If he doesn't like it, I'm on the public sidewalk. He doesn't have any authority over me. Okay, well, you can't be asking me for money and stuff like that. I'm not saying you were. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that's what.
Wait, you just keep saying, well, I mean,
Okay, well,
that's a line fuck.
Against the city ordinance. City ordinance is unconstitutional. Okay, that's the same thing. So. All right. Well, have a good night. Oh, I'm not done with you. So.
Have a good night. I'm not done with you yet. Yeah, you're not done with you. That's what's causing you the problems that you got now. I do not want to watch as long as this. I'll play this for people that need to hear it. One thing I'm going to be getting is the Toro upgraded optics kit whenever I get that back.
How to handle a 911 operator. What are the top 4 must-knows to keep you out of prison? My name is Tom Grieve. I'm a former state prosecutor, criminal defense attorney. I'm going to be answering this question, which I always see come up, and I hope to cover it now in one great video. Let's get into it. But guys, before I get into that, please help our channel grow and show your support for the Second Amendment at the same time by clicking subscribe, which of course will allow you to see all sorts of future content coming out for free, as well as like, which helps other folks see this channel. So guys, please take a moment to do that if you've not already done so. I know that almost 90% of you who watch our videos actually are not subscribers. So please, again, thank you very much. And with that, on with the show. So what are the top 4 must-know points to keep you out of prison when you're talking to a 911 operator after defensive gun use? Number 1, I want you to understand the scene is likely still dangerous. Bad guys travel in packs. So I want you to imagine that you're walking through a parking lot, you're trying to get in your car and someone tries to jump you. Or maybe you're walking down a street, someone tries to jump you. Just because you use your firearm, and I don't care if you didn't pull the trigger once, the bad guys get away, or whether or not you actually shot and you've got a bad guy on the ground, don't assume for a second that the scene is necessarily safe, okay? So you need to make sure that before you pull out your phone, before you tie up one of your hands, before you start looking down to dial, you develop that tunnel vision, even worse, that you're not putting yourself in any unnecessary danger. Number 2, be careful what you say. The 911 operators are understandably trained to keep you talking, keep you on the line, and to go into as many details as possible. These are, of course, recorded calls, so I do not want to see people going into exquisite detail with them. And I'm fine with kind of big picture things, and we'll get to that in a moment, but I definitely do not want you getting into little picture granular stuff of, yeah, I shot 4 times, or all those kind of details, all right? Because frankly, there's a really good chance that you're going to get those wrong. Not because you're some sort of bad person or you're trying to mislead or lie to the cops, but because frankly, you were probably just in the most single stressful situation of your entire life. There's more neuroanatomical issues going on as far as all the stress, all the chemicals that your body's released, as far as flight or fight reflex, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I've talked to many individuals who've been involved in defensive gun uses. We've represented many individuals at this firm who've been involved in defensive gun uses. People get a lot of this stuff wrong initially, okay? And I don't want you to have to marry yourself to, I shot 4 times, turned out to be 8, or I shot 8 times, turned out to be 4. You're gonna be getting those things wrong, which, should push come to shove, can absolutely be used by an aggressive prosecutor to undermine your credibility in court. So don't go into any exquisite details, at least not yet. Number 3, whether or not to actually stay on the phone with the 911 operator. I think reasonable minds can differ here, but I prefer to keep an open recording as a line of evidence. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily actually talking to them, but at the end of the day, keep in mind, this is an open line to your prosecutor, your judge, your jury, your in-laws, your employer, your employees, your friends, and everybody else is gonna be listening to what happens here. But also, we need to balance that with the fact that we don't want to be going into lots of details, and we also don't know if we have a safe scene. So to my mind, look, I want to maybe just put down my phone so that way I can keep 2 hands on my firearm. If I'm injured, I can then treat myself at that point or wherever the case may be. But I don't really see a point to hanging up that phone, provided you're not the sort of person who's going to be saying something that's just out of control and excited and blinded by your emotions. Hopefully you're not that person. Hopefully if you are, you can do everything possible to read some sort of self-help books or Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, if you're into Stoic philosophy or something like that, to try to help balance yourself out. Because keep in mind, those excited utterances and all that kind of stuff, that's stuff that will be played against you at your jury trial. So if you do feel like you're the sort of person who's going to say or do something stupid, again, I hope you have enough training to carry a firearm, but beyond that, then maybe that's an argument for hanging up the phone at that point and waiting for the police to arrive. But I think for those of us who can remain in at least some semblance of control, and we're not going to be spilling our guts with the details, if it's me, I'm putting the phone down, I'm leaving the open recording line going, so God forbid in case something else happens, I now have a witness to the whole thing. Because rest assured.
Good point.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Wilson Combat YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and ring the notification. We explained that it's essential to establish you were the victim and the police. When I started carrying a gun at an unusually early age, I spoke with lawyers and even a judge who said, never talk to the police, let your lawyer take care of that. And we all still hear that advice today. My first book on this topic, The Book in the Gravest Extreme in 1980, based on that advice that was virtually unanimous from judges and lawyers, I recommended, don't answer questions. Over the years of becoming an expert witness in these matters in the year 1979 and doing a great many cases since, I've had to change my mind on that. And it was the circumstances and collective case experience that changed my mind. Again and again, I saw the person who wouldn't talk to the police seen automatically as the perpetrator. And you've got to understand why that happens. So their training and their experience has taught them. And a private citizen as opposed to officer-involved shooting, when they get to a scene and one guy's laying horizontal, hemorrhaging, and the other guy's standing there with a smoking gun, the guy on the ground generally turned out to be the victim, and the guy with the smoking gun generally turned out to be the perpetrator. First impressions mean things. The cops are not issued a crystal ball at the police academy that tells them who is the good guy, who is the bad guy. So over the years, I've learned to establish the critical things there at the scene. So let's go over that 5-point checklist. We want to establish the active dynamic of what has happened here. We want to make it clear to the police that you are the intended victim, not the perpetrator. We want to point out evidence before it's moved or disappears entirely. We want to do the same, pointing out witnesses who may not want to get involved, but whose testimony might be critical to proving that you did in fact act in self-defense. Finally, it's at that point that I would respectfully decline to answer any questions until I had spoken with counsel.
Good points. Maybe Tom Reed would do a video over the thing. I think if I find a video over it, I'll play it. But I've already found testimony and questions in media from the ATF agents and stuff that explained how the 96-hour or 72-hour stuff doesn't prohibit someone's right in Missouri or even federally speaking. Now, in states like California, you're prohibited temporarily for 5 years, so keep that in mind. Gun bust for teenagers. Now, I don't like teenagers, Evan, so let's check this out. Then after this, I'm probably going to call it a morning on the live, end it. Doing some more immortalizing old streams that explain the Workyverse stuff, although I haven't been really trying to talk about that crap too much, just chill stream this one. But yeah, that'll be the next one that'll be coming up. So let's react and watch this video. Make sure to check out Law and Crime Network. And yeah, hope everybody has a good rest of the day after this. Well, damn, okay. Just, if you don't have a badge on, I'd beat your ass. Okay. Dang, y'all. 1, 2, 3, got 4 cops. Holy shit. We got an AK, look like a AR, and something similar of a Mac 11. Yeah. Those firearms you have to have a quote unquote class 3 or FFL and tax stamp to own those. Well, maybe not the AR, but the depending on the AK and the other one, if they have the automatic capability, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, we can put it down my cruiser.
They all chilling and killing. Sorry, it's no laughing matter. This shit is serious though. But I mean, they all think it's a game and fun and normal and shit.
Multiple firearms in the vehicle, we have to figure out what's going on.
I don't know, but he said nothing's gonna happen because I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay.
We just gotta figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Just have a seat.
He said that they're gonna just just let me go after they done. All right, that's my sister. I'm just trying to figure out.
Should be all right. Okay. There's just a lot of guns in the car. We gotta figure out what's going on.
Okay. Okay.
If you mind keeping your feet in, I'll roll down the window and you can talk here if you want.
You know,
Sure,
we
sure.
just outside. I'll go
Okay.
right there.
Good. I don't know. I don't know if someone called and said that there were people with guns.
Hold
Hell no. Look at that. You got it right here in the white shirt. Look. He humping the air.
I think there's like 5 or 6 guns in the car. I think we're trying to leave right now.
Good. Yeah.
Definitely a fucked culture.
Hey, bro, why you put her in handcuffs? She's under arrest for what? My cousin ain't going over. You don't see it coming. No, I got no gun, bro. Everybody go. Get going. Everybody go.
Tough guy.
You all arrested girls. Do you know why she's under arrest? Why? Do you know? Why? Why? Do you know? Do you know? What you gonna do? What you gonna hit me? What you gonna hit me?
Rich Taylor Walker, where's your names out on your backs?
Mine's right here. Mine's right there.
Right, but y'all hit him though. Y'all hit him though.
No, we didn't hit him. Not our best carrier.
Why are y'all arresting bro?
Y'all really killing people. Y'all not even do. Okay, keep going. What you talking about? Somebody got shot yesterday. I didn't do the body.
They self, bro. They killed that boy, bro.
You're not going over here.
No,
We're not going to go over there.
Rich Taylor Walker.
He really look like a buster. Oh, head ass.
Chill.
Elbow head. Oh, egg
Look how these officers it is. This is what y'all did when y'all ran Jalen Walker down too, huh? Guns, that's what y'all like to do. Y'all still like to do, huh?
You end up being a police officer. I grew up here before you were even born. You're a police officer. That's right, but I was here before you were even born. That don't mean you somebody. Yo, nugget head. If you out here dying, you're a regular police officer, man. Yeah, you don't know me. No. Yeah, I don't know. What you said my name was? You don't know me. You don't know me.
He just did a legal search because nobody was ever in this car.
I don't know why, because they was in the car, whatever they was going to find, I don't know. They were sitting in the car park. We all been in the car park for like 2 hours. You don't know me to say my name, dude. You a detective? You a detective? What you detective for? What's your name? How you know me?
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, anyways. Oh, my mic was unplugged. Oh, it wasn't. Anyways, we'll just do this. Everyone have a good day. That's what it is like trying to identify these fucks. But justice will always prevail. Keep that in mind. Oh yeah, I'm a cow. I'm a cow. A little cow. Come up with something better, or actually don't. Just step away from me. How about that? Yeah. Can you do that? I mean, you act like you can't because you're narcissistic, right? So, peace out.